Hello Scorpio, welcome back to my channel. I am Mariana. I will do the vibes inside for you today. So, let's see Scorpio, what's up for you? I actually get a rather okay energy for you. Let's see, because well, you Scorpio, you can always somehow, there can be things underneath the surface here, right? But for you somehow I get a feeling of a well, it's like the 11 number of numerology. 11-2 actually I get here. What that means for me is even though there may be turmoil around you, you are in, you could say, a bit like the eye of the storm, right? Or the eye of the volcano, or the orcane. It's like there may be tumultuous thing about you, but somehow you have a, that's what it's like in a tornado, right? That it spins and spins and spins, but actually in the middle it's quite quiet. It's rather, you could say, even though there's all this stuff going on and it's swirling and swirling and swirling, whatever may be going on, it's like you have found a place, perhaps, Scorpio, where there's a feeling of, like, I don't mind, or I'm unbothered somehow by something, unbothered by something that may seem like a hurricane or something, tornado around you. Maybe it's a person. But somehow it's like you just kind of not bothered by it. Like no matter whether matter whether you are involved. Again, because I feel like you're actually in the middle of it, right? It's right around you. It's all around you, maybe. And maybe you're realizing it, like you're standing there and it's just like there's all this stuff going on around you, but you're observing it, perhaps. And kind of just getting to this feeling of, I can't change it, even if I try to. I can't stop this hurricane or this whatever tumultuous thing. I can't. So I just kind of have to get the best out of it, or try not to be bothered by it, right? Try not to take it in or take it to heart or something. I still put up a little lavender incense here for you today. Maybe just as a reminder, right, that this could be that we are just, we hold space for others. We may pray for them, right? We understand that they are in a difficult situation. Maybe they are the ones that are in this hurricane, this tumultuous place, right? And we're just kind of knowing that I can't change that hurricane anyway. Or it's not mine to change, right? Whatever is happening it's out of my control. I can't do anything about it. It's a storm that just has to, it has to be a storm for a moment, and then it will kind of resolve itself again. Storms usually do. It could be a matter of perspective, right? Something like storms come and go in my life, right? Storms come and go in my life. It's a kind of repetitive thing. Realizing that it has been there before and now it's here again, and it seems like it's coming and going, and no matter how hard I try to change that or like escape it or run from it or whatever, it seems like it finds me anyway. And now I just don't want to buy into it. I don't want to be overcome by it, by fear or anxiety or revenge or anger or something. I kind of just let it slip. I kind of just let it be. I'm letting something be tumultuous or chaotic, but I don't have to become that, right? Something is chaotic perhaps around me, but I don't have to become chaotic. So let's say someone is yelling at you or like bullying you, right? But it's like you just have this steadfast thing that, well, no matter how loud you become, how much you're yelling at me, it's not taking my peace from me, right? It's not supposed to, or I don't allow it. I'm not allowing something to break my peace or I'm simply not allowing it to have an effect on me somehow, right? I'm not allowing it to have an effect on me. Even though it tries to, right? It tries to scare me or something like that. There could be this idea of something around you that wants to have an impact on you, but it's just like you are standing in this like really solid, empowered embrace, right? That you just know that you're safe somehow. So it's a beautiful feeling, or an empowered feeling, I think. An empowered feeling of just knowing that you are safe, perhaps, or I hear untouchable, but that's well, it could be that whatever seems like chaotic and wants to kind of influence you, that you're kind of just untouchable in that. like the core of you, something that is vital to you cannot be touched, right? It's that. So it's an extreme empowerment of like a core of you cannot be shaken, right? It's not supposed to be, of course, but it's like there's this that no matter how tumultuous it is, it's just like, okay, well, whatever. It has been here before, so let's just get done with it. See what do you want, right? It's almost like you could talk to it and just remain extremely calm, right? Like you could talk to something that is out of control and stay very calm. So now this feels like it's double, like there's two cards, but there is only one. So we may see what that card is, but it may feel like it's double, or it's there are two of them. Or, you know, double pressure or something like there's a doubleness to this card, but there is only one card. Maybe you're realizing something, you know, like when someone comes at you with a certain force, that maybe you realize they are not that powerful, right? They don't have that power over you, or if they have previously, you definitely learned somehow to shield yourself or to not take it personally, perhaps. So, well, I think, Scorpio, that usually if you have not had any kind of severe traumas in your life, I want to say you are quite strong, Scorpio, right? Usually you can handle a lot of crap. Or handle is maybe not the right word. It's just like Scorpios can go where nobody else likes to go because it's too weird or too occult, too dark, perhaps. You can actually be drawn to the dark. You want to find out what it is, right? I did a while back, I did what I called DNA, something about DNA history or something, DNA imprint for all of the signs. And I remember what came out for you, Scorpio. It was something about what I call the event horizon. And the event horizon is, at least if you know about the black hole theory in the cosmos, that that the black holes still contain a lot of mystery for the scientists. We don't know what's actually quite in there. Some believe they have figured something out, but the point is that in lab research, black holes, if we are trying to recreate a black hole, what they find is that in the black hole there is singularity. So it means that everything gets crushed down to like just powder, you would say, or it's crushed down into a minimum sense of density. So naturally, with our inbuilt fear responses as a human being, us entering into a dark hole would have probably, like activate some fear responses because our life is threatened there. And I'm not saying you're dealing with black holes in the cosmos, but you could be dealing with stuff in life where there has been some kind of danger around it. Maybe you've had a dangerous occupation where there's an opportunity every day to get killed, perhaps, right? Or you have witnessed something, or someone is living a dangerous lifestyle and you're just kind of watching it. As I said, with this chaotic feeling that someone is maybe living in this chaotic realm and you're kind of just standing there watching it. And also getting to this realization, but I can't, if they decide to have this behavior, if they decide this for themselves, this kind of behavior, I can just witness it. I can't really change it on their behalf. I can't really do anything. They have to hit that rock bottom themselves, maybe before they do something. And even if they hit that rock bottom, maybe they are not even able to do anything themselves anyway, right? So there is something about realizing that you don't want to feed into someone else's chaos, perhaps. Like if someone has, let's say, an addiction or something, they have a certain behavior that is really self-sabotaging or is dangerous in some way, then it's like I can't have all my emotions linked to that, right? My emotional state of being and peace cannot be related to whatever this chaos is, because if I do that, I can never have peace, right? I will always be on edge. I will always be wandering and so attached to someone else's well-being or someone else's survival. So we can only go as far as to the event horizon of something. If we step over the event horizon, we can get sucked into the black hole of someone else's existence and the chaos that is going on there, right? Maybe you realize you are actually standing there, that you are standing, that you have crossed that line of the event horizon and you get yourself sucked more and more in. I get, though, the feeling a little bit different. I get the feeling of someone who is not getting sucked in. Like you may stand, that's what the scientists talk about with the black holes. It's like you stand, you are approaching the event horizon. And when you get as close as the event horizon, it's like there's no force that can let you go the other way. Like you get sucked in by the gravity and density of the black hole. Light cannot escape. Nothing can really escape that immense pull that something else has. So that's what I talk about. That Scorpios, you can be very interested in knowing something about like matters like this, something that is so, I want to say, unnegotiable, right? It's the black holes, you cannot argue with them, right? They don't give in. They never change. They have a certain being around them. And it's like they are like that. Whether we like it or not, that's how it is with them. And if you get too close, you get sucked in and crushed in there, right? There is no other way. But it doesn't mean that, especially for a Scorpio, that you could find it intriguing to know more about. That's why physicists are also drawn to the black holes now, right? They are intrigued by the mystery. They are intrigued by the entire physics around a black hole and how it works and what could potentially be in there. There are all kinds of theories, right? Black holes are very dense. They seem to draw everything to them, no matter what it is. So if we are applying this to a person with, like, you could say, immense darkness in them, perhaps, or they are, as I said, dealing with a lot of chaos in their life. Sometimes those people can actually be quite magnetic, right? People are intrigued by a mass murderer or a serial killer in prison. Sometimes those serial killers doomed to stay locked up forever, they have immense people writing them, right? There is a mystery and some kind of intrigue with something that is so out of the ordinary, or so, as I said, unnegotiable. They don't change, right? This idea of they are not changing, like, it's like there must be a way to heal this, or there must be a way to get to get in. There must be someone. If I am in a certain way, or if I behave in a certain way, if I do this or that, I can unlock that door. I can somehow change the imprint of something. That would be like trying to change the imprint of a psychopath, or a, something that is so rigid in its form and unnegotiable. It's not changing, no matter how much therapy, no matter what. It's like, you say, a lost cause, right? We at least we haven't found the way in. Psychologists, everything, they haven't found the door to open, right? The door to open, to somehow see into that brain and understand what's going on in there. It's a mystery. It's a locked door. You can't really get information from it. It's not sharing, right? It's not sharing. It just keeps the door locked and does its thing. So there is a pull to this. We say that the good girl can be drawn to the bad boy, right? Why is that? There is something about when we are touching upon something that has a unique form and it won't change, like it stays that way. The opposite can be attracted to it. The opposite could be someone who is very changeable, like they could, and that's what we sometimes see, right? If someone is very dense and very set in its ways, the people around them, they are actually changing for them. Like they are trying to, as I said, find a way in. They're trying to find a way. How can I somehow behave around this so that I can have the best possible or most safe communication, or the best outcome somehow, right? But because something is unchangeable, it stays in its way and demands the same things. You can have the same around you. Like if you have others in the same matter around that, you will have like butting heads, right? You will have fighting, because you can have two of them in the same room, really. these two cannot go together because none of them are budging, right? They demand the same things. They draw towards them. This one would draw this one in, and this one would draw this one in. That's how, like the black hole dynamic, this density of drawing it to kind of just crush it. But none of these would be sucked in, right? It's the other way around. They are sucking something in, but they can't really suck in the things that are not wanting to or not able to, because of their unique composition. I hope you get my point of it. Again, this idea of people get attracted to each other, yeah, but you can't have the unique composition of a narcissist is not budging, and therefore what it typically will be drawn to, and what will be drawn to it, is something that is negotiable, that is open to change, that is flexible, that is, because that would be a fit, right? That would be a fit. That's what the narcissist needs, and the flexible person is able to do whatever they want around this thing, right? This person or this situation. You can have an unchangeable situation, and then you can have you and looking at it. So you can look at the situation and you can decide whether you want to become influenced by it, how much it should take your peace, whether you want to remove yourself from it, or you're just a bystander that is just watching something here. You watch something play out, but you decide, no matter how it plays out, no matter what happens, even if this person dies, I have no way of changing that. I have no way of really influencing it. You know, like if someone is drinking and you take all the bottles of liquid or liquor away from them, but if they are really dependent on this alcohol, they will find a way, a sneaky way, to somehow get it anyway. So people can make intervention in other people's lives, but if the person themselves are actually not willing to budge, if there is no reason for them to change, if there is no reason for someone to change, they're not doing it. Why should they, right? If they can't find the reason themselves. If someone is in, as I said, in, let's say, an addiction, if they can't find the reason to get out of it, let's say their wife is not reason enough, their children is not reason enough, themselves is not reason enough, what should then be reason enough to make the change? So for the love of the wife, you won't do it. For the love of your children, you won't do it. For the love of yourself, you won't do it. What then should be big enough, like overriding that addiction? What is supposed to override the addiction then? And maybe someone is finding themselves standing there and looking at their own mess, perhaps, right? And realizing, I have to do something, perhaps. Or you're the one standing there and you see someone else's mess and how it creates the rings, you know, like the rings in the water, how someone's behavior is affecting so many other people, is affecting so many other people's hearts and feelings, and but no matter what they do, this particular person with this chaotic behavior perhaps is not changing, right? And therefore maybe I feel like someone here is actually standing in a rather balanced energy. It's like you've made a decision, or you have come to terms with the fact that it has to just play out. Like whatever this storm is, it just has to play out. I can't change it anyway. I'm not supposed to, perhaps. Maybe this is someone's personal karmic lesson they have to go through. Maybe they have to hit the rock bottom, right? And figure this out themselves. Because, as I said, you can make an intervention in their life, but if they are not truly committed to a change, they will not do it. Or they will do it, going to a rehab facility, and the moment they are out, they start drinking again. Something like that. It's like the reason for drinking is still more prominent than the reason for healing. So I feel like I'm talking to a Scorpio where this is what you realize. You realize that I can be emotionally totally invested in this, and I can let myself be like wielded up and down emotionally every time I see this person happy. I may know it's because they have been drinking solidly or immensely. And every time I see them unwashed in a corner, shaking, I know it's because they're not drinking, right? You have seen all the ups and downs. You have seen all these tumultuous ways of being, and actually just standing there and looking and participating in that is a kind of enabling, right? But at the same time, I'm not their guardian. I don't even have legal right to do anything. I don't know somehow to intervene. I don't have any authority here. This is their own life. This is perhaps what they chose, right? They chose something for themselves. And I won't be responsible. I don't want to feel responsible for them surviving, perhaps. Like you may have been witnessing someone really on a death path, right? They are marching towards their own death, and you can just stand there and look at it. That is definitely scorpionic, right? This is something very difficult to even talk about and maybe to address, because this, whatever this is around you, could be, escaping. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to realize it. They don't want to face it. They don't want to let you in. They don't want to discuss this with you. They don't want to, let anyone take charge of their life. They don't want a change. They just want things to be like that. They are not asking for a change. You are perhaps asking for it, right? Or you were asking for it because you hoped for them to have a more healthy life, perhaps. But this you cannot change. If they decide to have this kind of life, if they decide to have this kind of path, you can't really do anything about it. You can say stuff, you can, again, as I said, you can let yourself be sucked in by their chaos, right? You can do that. But again, be aware of the event horizon. Where is the event horizon for you? Otherwise, you get sucked into all their stuff here. all this chaos, all this drama, all this trouble, you know. So and again, you can maybe you have decided, I'm not going further than the event horizon, right? I'm staying out here, because otherwise I will be sucked into all their, you know, I don't know what this is, but that's what I feel like. Even though you love them, right? Even though you care deeply for them, it's simply not something you can change. So let's see what we have here. Yeah. So I'm just showing you the cards here. So I have the Chariot. I have man holding a coin. I have the Star Seer. And I have the Sun. So, as I said, I had this feeling of someone standing in the midst of something, feeling this kind of turmoil around them, whatever that is. And the cards I have here on the table kind of tell me how you, even though you stand in here and even though there is some kind of thing going on around you, you decide to kind of go your own way. The Chariot talks about, it says here, determination and self-control, career advancement, knowledge of success by others. And we have man holding a coin here, so this could talk about money, career. But the Chariot talks about like putting yourself in the driver's seat. You take charge. You take the reins of maybe your life. It could be, if we talk about career advancement and man holding a coin here, that you are building something. But putting yourself in the driver's seat, going where you want to go. No matter the tumultuous thing around you. You know, like the obstacles, the restrictions, the name calling, the gossiping, the bullying, the whatever this is. This is someone taking matters into their own hands, going somewhere here. This ring I talked about could also be, you know, like a well-meant protective thing, that people, friends, family may have told you this is not right for you, or you shouldn't go there. This is not, it's not a good career path. It's how do you know how, you know, like it could be well meant, but it's not really, it's not just noise somehow for you. With the Chariot, it's definitely maybe an intuitive thing, that you feel like you have to pursue something here, even though others may not approve of it. But it could be something you want to build something here. The coin is the pentacle. This is, well, the pentacle may have to do about money, like self-worth. It could be an investment in some kind of education, something that potentially can maybe change your financial income status or something. It is it could potentially also, again, we have this, like, when we see the star, she's climbing this ladder towards enlightenment or maybe advancement here, that building on your self-confidence to somehow go and get something here, or offer something. This could also be what this is, that you put yourself in a driver's seat here to go somewhere and offer something here. The Sun card over here talks about, this is Leo energy. So this is about leadership also, personal leadership in your life. I see that also with the Chariot here, of like you take the reins, you decide, you follow an intuitive thing here. Your heart, perhaps. The Chariot is a card of Cancer. It's the card 7, so it could be, this is a spiritual number, it could be a spiritual path, a spiritual thing you want to pursue. The Sun is about leadership, personal strength, standing in your power. It's about happiness, abundance, joy, freedom, perhaps, and again, maybe it's about like building something for yourself here to somehow climb towards something that is more fulfilling. Like you see the Sun here, right? Climbing towards the Sun, you would say. Having an advancement in your life, whatever that may be. It doesn't have to be money. It could be career advancement, and man holding a coin, leadership here. Definitely could be something about, like in a midst, let's say, when in the midst of the coronavirus, when everything was tumultuous around us, businesses were closing, people were sent home from work, they couldn't be there. In the midst of this drama, you decided to open your own business, right? That would be some kind of, or you decided to have some kind of path here. In the midst of this, warning, like a storm warning, right? In the midst of a storm warning, you go outside. You go outside here. Because you're saying to yourself, of course I can sit in fear and hide in my home. But the storm will be here anyhow. It's going to stay maybe for a long time. In the beginning of the coronavirus, we didn't know, right? We didn't know how long it would take. People lost their money, they lost jobs. People got sick, of course. Many people died of the virus. That's what I feel like. There's something that is potentially opposing some kind of threat. or warning or something, but you are kind of doing it anyway, right? You're taking a stance or going somewhere anyway. You're pursuing something here anyway, even though there's this. And I actually have a calm feeling around it. It's like you don't feel anxious. You don't feel, actually, you feel safe. It's almost like you somehow manage to put yourself in a protective cloak or something, and you are just doing it anyway. So against all odds, kind of, right? That even though there is this storm, you go sailing, right? That's the feeling, that even though everybody warns you that this would be like too tumultuous or not the right thing to do, you do your thing. Or even though you have chaos around you, you know, like maybe your family is sick, maybe you have all these financial trouble, you have or as I said, you hit rock bottom on something and you're realizing all the chaos around you. And now you take the reins and you say, okay, I have to start somewhere. So even though there is all this chaos, maybe I've hurt a lot of people, right, with my behavior. Maybe I've hurt a lot of people. Maybe I owe a lot of people money. But I somehow have to figure out how to get myself out of that mess somehow, right? Or you are the one that stands and is the bystander and can just witness someone else. Let's say you have parents that are alcoholics, right? And you can just be the bystander there, and you can look at them and you can say, either I can let myself be drawn into all their problems here, and I can try to fix stuff. I can try to make them meals and clean the house, and I can take them to the doctor whenever they break down and so on. But then I just kind of enable their chaos, right? I'm kind of just enabling their chaos. Some would say, but it's because I love them, I want to help them. Yes, but if you look deeper, what are you actually doing? Because you are, let's say, cleaning the house, you make them meals, you take all the bottles out, you take the trash out, you are doing all this stuff around them, or you were perhaps. And if you take yourself out of that equation, now they are left in this chaos, and eventually it's probably going to break down. But maybe that is needed, right? Maybe it's needed because now everyone can actually see how terrible it is, right? Before, maybe you have kind of, like you have kept everything together, you've kept it going, but it never got better, right? It never changed. They never stopped drinking, right? They never thought about your feelings, perhaps, in the midst of this. They never changed. As I said, you're dealing with something like the black hole, or you could be dealing with something that innately is not going to change unless it is hitting rock bottom. It has to realize its own mess. Maybe that's what you're realizing, that you're waking up in the midst of something. You see all this turmoil around you. You see all this trash around you, perhaps, that you have created, for instance, with your behavior, or someone did create that with their behavior. And either you or the person in this chaos must take charge of how to change that, if they want to change. Maybe you need to move out, like if you have been living in something like this, maybe you need to move out. Because as I said, whatever this is, it's not going to change unless something very vital happens to them. then they are not changing. And I see someone realizing that and now taking, like, I am in charge of my own life. I don't have to stay here. I don't have to be just. The more I help, the more I offer into this situation, the more I'm actually just enabling something to go on. I'm just, I'm just, like, I'm ensuring the basics of something. And as long as I do that, this is the chaotic behavior is going to stay. It's not going to change. And someone may have been fed up with that and is now taking charge and going somewhere here. They are deciding to change that circumstance, change the circumstance by maturing or by deciding I'm actually not going to live here. I can't I can't sustain myself here anymore, so I have to change something. I have to change by leaving, moving out, saying no to, like doing the basics for someone else, perhaps. Or I'm doing less and less of it because I'm taking matters into my own hand. I take my savings and I go somewhere else and offer someone else something here. Or I put in an investment in something because I feel like that is going to help me towards more happiness, more joy, more fun, more a freer life, a happier life. I don't want to be part of someone else's chaos, right? Or I want a better life for myself. If you're the one standing in this chaos, I want a better life for myself. I want a more happy life. And I want to feel like I'm in charge of my own life, that I am the one who can choose where I want to go, that I have the ability to go drive somewhere, right? That I'm capable and that I can do this. And again, maybe there are warnings here or limitations, or it could be something you're facing from the system, like society, that there are certain limits to how someone can earn their living, or this could be the tax system, right? Whatever this is for you, it could be like the employment market at this point in time is tumultuous. Nobody is hiring, and you're just facing that. You're facing some kind of limitation here, or tumultuous. I don't know, maybe if you are someone who is investing in the stock market, maybe the stock market right now is quite unstable, and you are looking for another way of getting your money or something here. And you're quite calm in it, actually. It's like you've found a way, or you have. I get the feeling because you take the reins yourself here, like you put yourself in the driver's seat. It again, that's a significant thing, that you are not dependent on someone else's well-being. Someone else's well-being is their own responsibility. It's something about the responsibility for something. You want to be responsible for your own life, your own happiness, realizing that you cannot and should not be responsible for someone else's happiness and well-being. It's on their shoulder. They have to mature, wake up to that, and grow themselves. Change themselves to take responsibility, that you are not the one who is supposed to clean up for them, or help them whenever something is burning, right? Eventually, they have to be able to do that themselves. And now I see someone here like really taking charge, like not wanting to be part of someone else's mess, or you're realizing your own mess. And as I said, maybe you hit rock bottom to a certain point and you are now realizing I have to change something here. I get more the feeling though of someone who has been watching someone else's turmoil, right? That you have been watching a situation that it has been playing out, and maybe it has played out all your life. I don't know. And you're just standing there and seeing how you could be sucked into that. That you somehow could, they have this ability, as I said, that's how they are composed, it's in their DNA, to kind of draw you in to their stuff, into their mess. And when you are there, when you have passed the event horizon, when you are on this side, it's like you really have no free choice. You keep being drawn into their mess. You keep being drawn into their stories, their narrative, or their pain, or their illness, or all the restriction and limitations. And you realize, I can't really go there. I want to go where I can find some happiness. I want to go where there's fun, or where there's light, right? Where there's ease. I wanna be able to control my own money, perhaps. Right? I wanna be able to go where I wanna go. If I wanna climb this ladder here towards some kind of enlightenment or fun or the sun or leadership, my own personal leadership, that could be like owning that. Maybe you realize this is a karmic lesson. Like, this is given to me from the cosmic realm. I actually have wanted to climb this ladder. This is a karmic lesson I had to somehow mature and realize I don't have to stay in this. I don't have to stay. The reason for staying could be guilt, the feeling of guilt, but I owe this to my parents, I owe this to my siblings. If I'm not doing this, I'm the worst person ever. I am supposed to be there. I'm supposed to stay in this turmoil, right? I'm supposed to be part of this group setting or this family belief system. I'm designed to be there. I'm raised to become that one. And if I'm not doing that, I will be shamed, gaslighted, flying monkeys, all this kind of manipulation around me. And when I'm in there, I can't have happiness because I'm constantly thinking about their well-being. It's all my life is about. It's about their well-being, not my own, really. There is no room for that when I have passed the event horizon. So maybe there's something about keeping at a distance is much better than getting sucked into it. You can still love them. You can still hold space for them. You can still pray for them. But there's this, just knowing that if you pass the event horizon, if you go step over the other side, there is no turning back, right? It's like you get sucked into all their stories, into all their needs, into all their narrative, into all this pain or suffering, limitation, restriction. Maybe it's legislation here, like, the law is prohibiting you from something, and you are saying, but if I move to a different country, I can have this. In a different country, I could have my new start and beginning, or, and therefore I'm moving. I am literally leaving this country. I'm leaving this state, or if I move to another state, I can have some of this freedom. I can get divorced or whatever this is. I can break out of a certain system. I can climb that ladder here of something. I can get myself out of this karmic wheel. If that's what it is, that you have been in a karmic wheel of turmoil and oppression, or something like that, and you're seeing that I can't stay in this, right? I don't want to stay in it. Why should I stay in it? The ones that are in here, they are not budging. They are not seeing what I could need. They're not reciprocating. It's not given free, like equal give and take here. That's what I feel like. That's the kind of situation that I see. But I also see someone actually feeling rather, it's like you've come to this feeling of being okay with maybe the shaming or the guilt tripping or something. That even though they are trying to push this on you, the limitations, the warnings, all this stuff that could go wrong, that you've kind of you have built some kind of protection. I feel like something, you have evolved some kind of protective shield around you, that even if they start doing that, even if they massively come towards you and shame you and they look down on you, they will take the inheritance from you, they will threaten you, all this, whatever they could do in an affective state, in a reactive state, because they are losing their scapegoat, right? This is a scapegoat that is leaving, I feel like. And there could be this massive pull of, you just see the destruction behind. When you're leaving here, you look back and you just see the tower fall, right? That could be what this is, that something wants to, like, call you back. That it wants to call you back into the mess, you could say. And I also get the feeling this mess, it could be yours, of course, but it doesn't have to be. Maybe it's not at all yours, right? That somehow you manage to take yourself out of it, distance yourself emotionally from it, or literally physically leaving here, moving out. Maybe in the midst of the night here, leaving, and just kind of right? I'm seeking my freedom here. I want to get myself out of whatever karmic situation this is. The star seer, this could be a feeling of like I belong somewhere else, right? The star, like I have been in, like, like if you connect with the feeling of being let's say, if you're into that, that I acknowledge myself as a Andromeda galaxy starseed, and the feeling that somehow with this incarnation you grew up in a different galaxy, right? That you grew up in a totally alien place. And all the stuff that you bring to the table is just misinterpreted as weak and something to be exploited. And now it's this feeling that when you put yourself in the driver's seat and you're leaving here, you're actually setting your course towards finding the right place for you, right? Maybe you don't know where you're going. You're just going. Anywhere but this must be better, right? Anywhere but this must be better. So I take myself out of a situation, and anywhere I'm going, even though I have to try many places, maybe you have lived many places, many countries, you are still trying to find that place that feels like home. Because right now it just feels like you have gotten yourself into some kind of mess again. But I get this relaxed feeling of, well, okay, I let this play out. So let them yell, but I'm not listening, right? I'm not really listening. I go somewhere else in my mind, perhaps here. I go somewhere else to a happier place. I imagine something better for myself. I listen to maybe a meditation here that takes me somewhere more beautiful. Even though I know there's turmoil or regression or something in my country, even though I know that my family is poor, even though I know that I can always pray to God, right? I can always, in my mind, I can go somewhere else. I can imagine myself in a better place or something. Literally, but the Chariot is typically quite physical. It's not just in your mind. It's you have actually put yourself there and you are leaving, like you're physically leaving. It could be mentally, but the Chariot is usually also like a physical, that you are not just thinking about it. You are actually putting yourself in the car and driving away, or whatever, flying away, walking away, even taking your bike and just go somewhere, something like that. Maybe it's just in your thoughts that you are dreaming yourself away here. Connecting with, like your star family here, in dreams, in your deepest feelings, that you're imagining leaving, right? But the more you're thinking about this eventually it's going to become reality. That would be the law of attraction. The more you think about leaving something, going somewhere more happy and beautiful, going somewhere or offering something here, the more you think about this, the more this becomes what fills up your mind. Eventually you're going to take action on that, because the situation you're in becomes too unbearable. You get fed up with it. Maybe this is like a preparation, like you, as I said, because I feel like the person standing in the midst of this eye of the tornado here, it's like, I actually get a rather calm feeling, quite collected and rather calm and unbothered somehow by whatever this is. That and maybe that's what you're training yourself to become more unbothered by something, trusting it more. Trusting that you can do whatever this is. Maybe you're actually doing it. Maybe you're on the brink of it. Maybe you are thinking about it. Your intuition is saying, "Let's get out." You're imagining, visualizing. You're figuring out how to get to that end goal. That's what I see here. So. I make these readings about Self-Care Initiative. At this point in time, if you find yourself here, what is a very good self-care initiative at this point in time when you are thinking about, or like stepping into whatever this is. You're thinking about it, you are actually doing it, you are pursuing something, you are dreaming about something, meditating about something, whatever. How there can be different timelines here, but where you are on this timeline, I definitely see an approach to do something about a situation that is just. Yeah, I feel like you are unbothered actually. Now you are. Maybe you haven't been always, but now you are. Or you are almost totally unbothered by whatever outcome it's going to create if you are leaving, or if you are saying no to the enabling, if you are saying no to, keeping just the bare minimums together of something. Like you don't want to be the trash carrier anymore. You don't want to be in that tumultuous round. That is definitely a thing that you're deciding here. I feel like this is a card of leaving, putting yourself in the driver's seat, becoming the leader here. I decide what I want in my life, right? Instead of needing, because of shame or guilt, to stay and taking care of other people's turmoil or trouble. So I get surrender card. That's interesting. I think that the self-care thing, or the surrender thing, again, is this: I surrender the situation to whatever outcome may come. So whoever is this tumultuous thing around you, you surrender that. If it crashes and burns, it crashes and burns. The outcome here, we don't know what happens. If someone actually hits the rock bottom and they realize you're gone, and they have to build up everything themselves here, if they are doing it, either it crashes or burns and really goes into pieces, or someone is actually stepping up, right? We don't know that. Or they are giving in. They start listening. They open a door, right? We don't know that. That's the surrender thing. You don't know the outcome. If you don't know the outcome, maybe someone you really love dearly is going to die. You are Scorpio, right? It's the death card in tarot. I can't say. It could be life-threatening what they're doing, dangerous. But somehow you have to surrender. Let's say that this is your that you stand here as the wife and your husband is a police officer, right? That they are constantly out there in the streets every night, patrolling the streets for gangs and drugs and shootings and whatever, but somehow you still have to remain you. Like you can go to sleep every night with like all this troubled anxiety, right? That you don't know if they're coming home in the morning, right? It's like the outcome of something here needs to be surrendered, or that is a self-care thing. To preserve you, you could say, you need to surrender whatever someone else is doing to preserve yourself, to have more peace. Because to surrender a situation means that you're taking your hands off it. You're no longer, clinging to something. You're no longer trying to control a situation. You're taking your hands off it and allows it just to be what it is. And meaning that I take my hands away from this. And now I surrender the outcome of it, because I don't know. If I try to control the situation, I clean up the trash. I take the bottles out. I prepare a simple meal. I clean a little bit. But when I leave, I know that whatever they're doing exactly the same thing they did yesterday and yesterday and yesterday and yesterday. They are still staying in this round here, I can give them a few dollars for a meal, but that's not what they're using the dollars for. They go and buy another bottle of alcohol, right? You know that, or they buy new pills or new drugs. You know that's what's going to happen. You can bring soup to a homeless person, but it doesn't take them out of their homelessness. It has to become that bad that the life they're living, the circumstances they have, the things they are experiencing, it has to become that bad. So bad, so immensely bad, before they may realize that they are not surviving this, or what life am I actually having? That's what I feel like with this, that someone could be waking up in the midst of this, looking at their life and seeing all the trouble, all this tremendous chaos around them, and just looking at it like, what the fuck has been going on in my life, right? Sorry the language, but what has been going on in my life? What is it that I have created here by staying in my grief, or because I was grieving, because I didn't pay attention, because I didn't do something about it. Now something is totally chaotic around me, right? I have to take charge of that now. I have to do something. I have to step up. Or you have somehow been, let's say you are the child in the midst of your parents' addiction, right? You have somehow not been able to, because you were the child, for instance, right? You grew up in something like that, right? So you, or you grew up in some very toxic power dynamics here. But because you were the child, you couldn't fight it, right? You became the observer of this. And somehow you got drawn into, as I said with the event horizon, you got drawn into, sucked into this. You had no choice. You were not powerful enough to resist whatever this was. You were kind of, you never even got to the event horizon. You dropped in here. You got born here. You don't even know what the event horizon is because it was never presented to you. You dropped here. You got born right into it. Perhaps, right? And because of that, it became your life. All your awareness kind of circled around this. You got dropped right into it. You had no choice. Perhaps, but now you do, right? As an adult now, or a young teenager moving out, you have a choice now. And whatever they are doing here, you have to surrender that outcome. That is a self-caring thing, and I feel like you are on the brink of doing this. Like you it's like you're noticing it. You can see it. That no matter what I do, no matter how far I run, no matter how beautiful I am, no matter how much of a beautiful wife or daughter or son I am, no matter how helpful I am, no matter how good I behave, no matter how right I am, I do in school, it's not going to change anything about them, right? Actually, the more you behave, the more the more you always take their needs into consideration, you always give in, you shape yourself around them. The more you do that, the more you're just enabling their density, their unnegotiable state, right? The more you are shifting and like It's like an actor. You're acting right in so many ways around them to just preserve whatever is here, perhaps. That's what children do with alcoholic or abusive or other kinds of addictions with parents, right? Because they need the parents. So they become these, like, they are enablers, but they don't know, they can't exist without them, right? So it's this toxic codependent relationship then. And you can take that with you into adulthood. I just feel like someone has realized it here, that how you may have been, like rushing in when something became very bad. You may have rushed right back to them to somehow clean up the mess, to create some kind of acceptable situation. And every time that happens, every time a storm happens, you come rushing, right? But maybe you shouldn't do that. Maybe you should not rush into it. Maybe it's need actually to fall down so that we can see the bits and pieces for what they are. They also need to see the bits and pieces for what they are. Or at least you now know that there is an event horizon. Right? You don't have to skip it and jump right into it again. There is actually an event horizon, and you can say no to go further than that. For your own sanity, for your own well-being, for your own health, for your own life and joy here, right? Again, because someone has a chaotic life, it doesn't mean that you can't experience joy, that you can be joyful, that you can be happy. Of course you can. You are allowed to be happy, even though someone else you care about deeply is having a really tough time or has a lot of chaos in their life. It doesn't mean that you cannot have it, that you are not allowed to. Of course you can. Of course you should be able to have success. Of course you should be able to climb the ladder. Of course or whatever this is. Of course you can go where you want to go and have that freedom. It's only if you emotionally attach yourself and let yourself be codependent, this is where it becomes difficult to leave. And again, you take all the responsibility on your own shoulders. If I leave, it's definitely going to crush. So I'm the one holding the pillars. Right? I'm the one holding the pillars. Now it's on me. But maybe you should let go of those pillars. And maybe it crushes. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it actually works out. Maybe someone is realizing, maybe I do need to step up. Or, where is he or where is she when I needed them? They're not here. Why are they not here, right? Well, it's because you don't want to be there. Surrendering may mean that someone else's happiness is their own business. Someone else's mess is their own business. And your happiness is your business. Your misery is also your business. Right? So this is the self-care card, right? This is the initiative that is important to realize. And I do think you know it, Scorpio. I feel like I have this rather calmed or unbothered is maybe not the right word. It's simply something about I don't want to involve myself. Because when I do, I know that if I involve myself, I get sucked right into this black hole or this mess somehow. So somehow I have to not get involved emotionally, mentally, psychologically, perhaps, maybe even physically, literally like leaving here. Right? Because if I do get involved, I'm sucked right into it, and it's very difficult to leave if I do that. The surrender card could also talk about surrender to the outcome of where you are going. So if you are going, you have managed to get yourself out, you have managed to say no, you have survived the first wave of manipulation or two, the gaslighting. You are on a way somewhere else here. You are maybe investing in yourself in a new way. You are trusting in yourself, building this confidence. But you also, if you are offering something to someone new here, let go of the outcome of that. Right? Just take it how it resonates, take it how it goes. Right? That maybe you are investing in, this could be seen also as, like this could be the feeling of a big firm, right? That this is a big firm, then if I invest in this firm, I could have an opportunity to climb the ladder and have success, right? So this could be the feeling that I'm up against something very big here, or I'm marching towards something very big. And if it has its eye on me and invests in me, I can slowly but surely climb this ladder here, right? So maybe what this is, you may be offering your services, or you're investing in a business, you're investing in some kind of corporation, maybe here, career advancement towards the sun, right? Maybe this is about your own personal success, right? That you instead of trying to enable someone else's, you ended up in a total mess here. And by taking matters into your own hand, you're pursuing your own, you could say, path of personal success and leadership. But you have to surrender that outcome still. Surrender what comes. Just maybe just enjoy the journey, right? Enjoy that you are on this path now. This new path of discovery. Just be there. Just feel into it and just enjoy it. And even though, again, this could also be the feeling that I stand in this new college, and I've never been here before, and everything seems so new and difficult and strange and weird, and I don't know anything about this. This whole environment is new. There are no people. I don't know any people here. I have no friends here. It feels so big to somehow just little me standing here, and I know that I have to engage with all of this stuff somehow. I am in this new college, right? But somehow it's not bothering me. I feel prepared, or I'm ready, or something, right? That could be what this is. That there is something that feels big in your presence somehow. And maybe it seems tumultuous. Maybe it seems, like helpful here. She's actually holding him here. Maybe it's actually helpful. It could be something you're changing about your perception. That once you thought the world was against you, right? The world was a dangerous place, that the world was unreliable, you couldn't trust anybody here. And now you are changing that setting to maybe trusting it, believing that it's trusting, believing that it's reliable, believing that there is help out there, right? That is also a way of changing your new ability, your new path. Um, but again, surrender the outcome. The more attached you are to an outcome, the more disappointed you can get, right? The more disappointed you can get of a certain outcome. So if you want to offer something to someone else here, you want to invest in someone or something, just know that it's going to take you somewhere. You may have hopes of success here, and advancement and abundance, right? But just take the ride for what it is. See where it takes you. Trust that you are held here. Trust that something is holding you here instead of letting you go suddenly, right? Trust that something is with you and holds you and wants to see you succeed, right? Trust that it is destined for you to get there in one way or another. Maybe you need to make more than one investment. Maybe you're making an investment, it's not playing out. It's going to be, one of those things. But it doesn't mean that you should stop your journey. It simply means that maybe it was not the right place, or the right city, or the right company, the right education. There are still more things to be explored. The joy you're looking for, maybe the surrender comes with that you haven't put a face on it. You haven't put a title on it. You haven't put a city on it. You haven't put a name on it. You haven't put a salary income level on it. That could be the surrender, as long as you're not doing that. You feel into it, right? Does this feel right? Does it feel right? Does it give me peace or joy, or not just a momentary adrenaline kick, right? But does it stay with me? Does it stay with me? Or is it evaporating easily again? And maybe you need to take many routes, maybe you need to go many places. But as long as you stay with your own feelings and intuition here, as long as you let yourself be guided by that, this is crown chakra, purple color, right? And it is a major arcana here. So I feel like you're trusting in your intuition. You do trust it. Maybe that's what you've learned, that if you find yourself suddenly standing in the midst of something tumultuous, you are registering it, you can feel it, but somehow you can also cloak yourself with some kind of protection and choose to get out, right? That this is what it talks about. Your intuition is telling you whether you are in a situation that can be trusted or not. And if not, you don't need to get involved. You don't need to bother to get involved. You can simply and easily just leave the situation and get yourself out. As I said, maybe you need to try many things before you actually find that feeling within you, where your intuition is actually feeling happy, like your intuition is supporting the choice or the circumstance, the name, the company, the place. But maybe you need to try different things here before you find it, before this is in alignment, right? And therefore, the best thing to do is surrender it to the universe. You would say, just surrender that you have no name on it. There is no, the outcome is not, like too precise, right? Your intuition will tell you whether you are on the right track, whether you can trust the feelings. If your intuition is telling you this is a tumultuous place, or it doesn't feel good here, even though it looks good, on the surface it looks good, on paper it looks good, maybe it just feels like you can't trust it somehow. You should go with that. You should think about it. You should allow yourself to trust that. And then just slowly but surely know that I don't have to involve myself with this. I don't have to engage more than a minimum, right? I don't have to. And then leave the situation whenever you can. This is what I feel like. Can I have an advice? Maybe an advice card? Can we have that, please? So broken heart here. I get the feeling this could be your own. Be aware of whether it's your own broken heart, if you have one, or had one, that whether it's your own broken heart who's talking, or whether you're guided by your intuition here. Or be mindful if you are, if the person here around you has a broken heart and that's why they act in a certain way. We don't need to, like break them further. But we also don't need to be broken by them, right? So there is something about recognizing the turmoil with someone who has a broken heart and how they can react, how bullying they can be, or how a situation can limit you so that it eventually will break your heart here. If it's almost like, again, as I said, if something becomes too threatening for us, then we take action, right? And maybe that's what this is. Maybe you have to realize that you are dealing with someone with a broken heart, that maybe you can't fix them or heal them. Maybe this is your own situation we talk about. And the only one who can do something about that is you. No one around you, no matter how much they care, no matter how much they do for you, your broken heart is your business. Your grief, your sad, again, be mindful if your own grief or sadness or something can draw you back into a black hole of sadness, right? Or if someone else's grief can, if it gets you stuck somehow. If this is your own situation, I want to say be mindful with yourself. Sometimes if people have experienced a broken heart, they close down their heart, right? They put up walls around it to protect the minimum that's left. And therefore, maybe that's the reason why you can stand in the midst of something very tumultuous and not be bothered, because you have closed down your heart. You don't want to feel anything. You have decided feeling is destructive. I can be hurt if I feel too deeply. And if you have experienced a heartbreak, it's better just to close it all off here. Never to love again, you know? We even have a tear here, right? I'm just feeling in a little bit into the idea of someone who is, you know, like every time they get into a quarrel with their partner, they leave, right? Whether this is like an escape tactic or because of this, so they don't want any drama, and every time drama comes up, I'm leaving, I'm out of here. Or whether this is actually a healing that's occurring, that you're finally realizing something and you're leaving. But maybe you are realizing something about your own situation and how you have created this turmoil behavior of escaping. But I do feel more of the other situation, I must say that. It's difficult if you have a broken heart here, or someone has, to ask them to surrender something is difficult, because they have already been like really broken down. Usually someone with a broken heart, they do have walls of protective mechanisms. To ask them to surrender, that could be a bit difficult. That would require a certain element of heart healing over time to eventually be able to surrender what comes. So let's say you are neither of these, right? Let's say you stand in the midst of this, but if you are this one, and you have been trying to heal your heart here, get into a surrender state. If you can actually really do it, you have probably done a lot of heart healing. To ask someone with a broken heart who is deeply hurt and is grieving, perhaps here, to just surrender, that would almost be abusive. They are not ready to do that. But you may be dealing, as I say, with someone with a broken heart, but it doesn't mean that you need to be drawn into and suffer with them in this broken heart situation or universe. You know, like this realm of broken heart, sadness and grief and sorrow and despair. That you don't need to be sucked into that. You do have the right to feel happy and abundant, perhaps, and have advancement in your life. That's quite all right. You don't need to co-suffer with them. and stay small because they are feeling like that. But it means that you have to surrender what comes. If they fall to the ground here, if the tower falls in their life, because you are not there to keep the pillars up, if you take yourself out of the picture and you are not holding the pillars here anymore for them, you take yourself out, maybe it will fall to the ground. And then we have to look at the pieces then. And if they somehow are able to, put them together with a minimum of help, again, you stay on the right side of the event horizon, right? Maybe you have even taken yourself totally out of the picture, moved away. So you leave them with their mess, right? Their chaotic brokenness here. Because again, it's their thing. It's something they need to own. They have to own that they have the broken heart. And take matters into their own hand. They have to own up to it and say, maybe I need help, right? Maybe I need help to recover. That I'm so lost in my own grief that I can't even take care of myself. I have just let go of the reins. I don't care about my life anymore. I'm drinking myself to death. But if that's the choice they make, no matter how much you try to hold the pillars, they will keep doing it. They will buy the next bottle of whiskey. They will buy the next pills. They will do that. If they are on that path and they cannot see any reason for not stopping, they will pursue that path. And you can either be there alongside of them, being sucked more and more into it, or you can take yourself out of that. I'm not saying this is easy at all. The loyalty, the love we have for people, right, in our life, the shame or guilt we may feel if we should withdraw from a difficult situation. We can even reverse it. What if this was me? What if this was me suffering from this and really feeling that bad? Wouldn't I be happy or glad that at least someone would care for me, be there for me? Of course you would. But there is this tremendous difference between someone who wants to heal and is grateful for the help you get when you feel down or you are very sick or something, someone who wants to heal and feel better, and someone who doesn't want to heal, who rather wants to stay here or doesn't know how to heal, right? It's very difficult to just watch someone on a death path. And maybe you've picked them up many times, put them into the hospital or in rehab or something, and they keep going right back into the same alley, right? I can't say what's the right thing to do. I feel like the cards here suggest that surrender the outcome of whatever is in your own life and what is in their life. Because no matter what, you are not in control of it. We can't control another person. We can't control what another person does or decides or chooses. Maybe for children we can, but for adults, not really. Not unless they are under some kind of guardianship. That has been decided. But if they are legally they are their own person, and they can make whatever choice they want. They have the free will. You can't really do anything. You can try to, of course, you can hold on to, and you can try to control the situation. You can try to keep it under some kind of as I said, you can try to hold the pillars up. You can try to keep a minimum of something going. But it's only because of you that it's there. If you take your hands away and you're not touching it anymore, we will see the real status of something. Even if it falls to the ground, we will see the real status of something. And maybe that's what it takes for you to have an honest, raw, vulnerable conversation with someone. Because this is the only time that they will actually let you in. And maybe they will actually become open to real help and see the mess that is around them. Okay? So this is what I have. I get it, it's delicate if we know we are dealing with people who have experienced tremendous heartbreak and trauma. I understand, but in order to preserve yourself in the matter, no matter how much you love them, if this is what is going on, I want to say you're lucky to prioritize yourself and get out here. You should be doing that for your own preservation. Maybe also for your own, you could say, karmic lesson that you are meant for more here. You are meant to have a different life. And you can choose it. You can also choose to stay. I'm not saying what you should do or not. I'm just telling you the story. I hope this helped Scorpio somehow, even though it's a very difficult situation. Take very good care of yourself out there. I must say, I feel like I am talking to a Scorpio who has almost or is doing this. They are taking themselves out. They are somewhat uninvolved in whatever responses may come towards them, and able to actually leave a situation. They have somehow managed to protect yourself from whatever manipulation may come, and that is a success, I want to say, Scorpio, for you. Deep feelers, the love goes deep for you, Scorpio, so it's probably difficult to take yourself away from people you love. But if it's a toxic situation, I want to say be very much aware of that event horizon when you get sucked in, because that is your warning sign, or this is where your alarm bells must, or your intuition is saying no, don't go any further, right? And you should listen to that. I wish you all the best on this journey. It seems very interesting and very abundant and very like you're on the right track somehow. As long as you can surrender that outcome and you preserve yourself, right? You stick to your own self-care and what's right for you. I feel like you're on the right path here, Scorpio. Take care of yourself. Love and light to you. Bye-bye.